with regards about her experiences about this new setup of learning. So let's find out.
Drop it.
Good afternoon, Atilab. Thank you for trusting and having me as your interviewer.
Hello Langga, good afternoon. My pleasure.
Anyway, before we start, can I ask you a question, Atilab?
Sure, what is it?
How are you today, Atilab?
I'm good Langga, thank you. How about you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
That's good to know Langga.
All right, Atilab, let's start.
Okay.
So, since we are now in the new learning environment, what is your opinion about blended learning?
So blended learning is a type of education in which students study through a combination of online and electronic media as well as traditional classroom instruction. Blended learning transforms the overall learning process and pedagogy. Not just the introduction of technology in education, this does not mean simply uploading lectures and asking students to study independently. It implies teachers can use dynamic media like videos, podcasts, audios, and photos to teach your students.
Ah, I see, Atilab.
Yeah.
So, now, given the fact that we face global pandemic, which is COVID-19, what are the struggles that you face in distance learning?
The struggles that I face in distance learning is that I feel like unmotivated. I didn't know what happened to me. I do my activities just to pass without learning. Technical issues plus distractions from the environment like noise from internal and external communication is one of the reasons why I hate this new system of education. But I don't have a choice since I'm not the only one who experienced this. There are times that I find myself crying in the middle of the night, thinking the future ahead of me. I'm scared. There are lots of what if inside my mind. Like, what if I fail? What if I can't survive? What if my family will be disappointed in me because of my performance? But then I realized that I'm almost there. I have a dream to be accomplished. I should be strong and be brave enough to face such challenges. I know God has a plan why we experience this pandemic.
Yes, exactly, Atilab. So, how did you manage the difficulties that you have encountered during this new setup of learning?
I managed the difficulties that I had encountered during this new setup of learning by time management, with writing to-do list, reminding myself that I can do it, watching motivational videos, and keep myself busy for learning and growth. And of course, having a strong connection to God. Prayer is my weapon, why I surpass the challenges that I had encountered since then.
So, that is your secret, Atilab?
Yes.
All right. So, due to the current situation, a lot of students nowadays are depressed about their academic life, and some of them commit suicide because instead of gaining knowledge, they gained more stress. So, what advice can you give to those students who are struggling with their studies?
So the advice that I can give the students who are struggling with their studies or academic life is that always believe in yourself. Always pray. Keep on learning. I know it's really hard given the situation that we face right now. But always remember that you're not alone, okay? So every one of us experience the challenges brought by this pandemic. Stay strong and remind yourself that there is a rainbow after the rain.
Yes, Ate Lab, there is a rainbow after the rain. Thank you for that wonderful advice, Ate Lab.
Alright?
So, which do you prefer, Ate Lab? Traditional class or the ACL class?
For me, I prefer traditional class because the learning is meaningful. It can be stressful, but being with our classmates and teachers will keep us going. They are one of the reasons why we enjoy our academic life.
All right. Thank you, Ate Lab, for sharing your experiences and advice as well. I really appreciate it. Stay safe and healthy. To God be the glory.
Thank you, Langga.
As we all know, this pandemic has drastically changed our lives. Transactions nowadays are now online, same as our educational system. We have this what we call blended learning, which means a combination of online and electronic media, as well as traditional classroom instruction. It allows both learners and teachers to engage in class productively. So, based on the experience that my interviewee encountered during this new setup of learning, I can say that this COVID-19 has brought the biggest impact in our life, especially as students. We are the most affected by this phenomena. One thing that caught my attention in this interview is that despite of all the challenges that we encounter, we must believe in God. Which is true because in God nothing is impossible. We may not understand why God let us experience this pandemic, but I strongly believe that He had a plan for us and a plan to prosper us. I hope that this interview will give us a great awareness and inspiration to keep going and fight for our dreams. This pandemic is just a temporary phase of our life. Soon, it will begin. So, be prepared.